we're going to get started on Business Advisory Services, ESS BIZTOOLS. So what we're going to look at today is what's included in ESS BIZTOOLS, the products, the business advisory services which we've developed to assist accountants to deliver non-compliance services to clients. The Business Plus newsletter, which is a newsletter we produce each month except January for accountants to be able to send to their clients. You rebadge the newsletter and send it out. Client mentoring and coaching is a education series of modules that we produce so that you can use the ESS BIZTOOLS material to educate your clients in the type of services that accountants are able to provide. Leadership is 9 modules that have been produced by a colleague of ours, Peter McDougall from the Leadership Academy. There are 35 seminars stroke webinars within ESS BIZTOOLS prepared, ready for use by you with your clients. There are 480 papers within the system that have been utilised in most of the other products that I've just referred to, but they are standalone papers that you can badge with your firm name on and send to your clients. And we also have ESS Biz Grants. We're not covering ESS Biz Grants in this webinar today. It's listed on a separate website, but it is part of the gold package for subscribers to ESS BIZTOOLS Gold Package. They obtain a subscription to ESS Biz Grants as part of that subscription. So with each paper there's a set of PowerPoint slides. There are hundreds of forms within the system and standard letters. There are YouTube recordings on the various components of ESS BIZTOOLS that you can listen to at your leisure, and the whole product is networked into a series of products to assist accountants to deliver non-compliance services or chief financial officer services for their clients. So what you have on the screen at present is a summary of the key components of ESS BIZTOOLS. We have business advisory services, which is the material to assist accountants to deliver formal products that can be best described as being non-compliance products. Business Plus is the newsletter. Client mentoring and coaching is the material to help educate your clients. Leadership modules are 9 modules on leadership. We have the ESS BIZTOOLS papers, which there's 480 papers targeted at small, medium enterprises and 50 papers that are targeted at accountants with our thoughts and suggestions, incorporating the thoughts and suggestions of other leading commentators like Andrew Geddes, David Smith, Rob Nixon, David Mayer, and other people on the direction of the accountancy industry. We've got 35 seminars and there's various forms. So that's how it all fits together. Within business advisory services, there are 9 introductory modules which have been prepared to assist accountants to get ready to deliver business advisory services, and we'll go to them shortly. And we have 12 product modules, 10 are already on the website, 2 more will be added in the next couple of weeks, and they're covering the main products that we believe are important for accountants, and they're listed on the screen there at present, and there's some more of them there. Why is all this important? Well, those of you who have caught up with the Deloitte report into the digital disturbance is the terminology they've given as to some of the problems that are going to confront the accountancy profession in the next 2 to 3 years. If you've read the CCH report on small business and accountants' views on small business performance, and if you listened to the webinar produced by CCH and Proactive Accountants on the 7th of May, you'll be aware that there were projections given in that webinar that indicate that the accountancy profession in Australia, indeed everywhere in the world, is facing severe problems at present as more work is outsourced offshore, as more small, medium enterprise clients utilise cloud technology. CCH are claiming that currently 14% of the total Australian small business market are using cloud technology. That came from, quote, nowhere, unquote, over the last 12 months. And that was the quote from Russell Evans, the CEO of CCH. And his prediction is that there will be a very significant uptake by small, medium enterprises of cloud technology over the next 12 months and the year after that. CCH's survey asked small, medium enterprises what they were going to do now that they had this cloud technology product. And according to CCH, 62% indicated that they would look to do more accounting work. Now, some of it was at the bookkeeping end, but some of the work that was listed, according to Russell Evans, was quite advanced accounting work. Rob Nixon has interpreted that his organisation believes that around 32% of the work currently being performed by accountants is under threat over the next 2.5 to 3 years as the full effect of the digital disturbance is felt by the Australian accounting market. Now, what are you going to do about this? This is the big question. And in this respect, I do agree with Russell Evans and Rob Nixon that this is going to present a tremendous opportunity to accountants to reposition themselves as being the key business advisor to small, medium enterprise by offering chief financial officer type services. And this is where our business advisory tools come into play. These tools are going to assist subscribers to ESS BIZTOOLS to smoothly move into offering a wide range of business advisory services to their clients without the necessity to recreate the wheel, without the necessity to spend thousands of hours on the development of the material. It's readily available for a very cost-effective annual subscription to give your office 24/7 access. So that's why we've developed the business advisory products. And they contain papers, forms, questionnaires, manuals, a whole range of material to assist accountants to offer these products for their clients. The Business Plus newsletter is written in such a way that it can be on-forwarded with your name on it to your clients and prospects and affiliates. It is mainly directed at the small medium enterprise market. It's not overloaded with taxation articles. It features a lot of articles to do with running a small business successfully. Client mentoring and coaching is 13 pre-prepared modules that have been prepared to better educate your clients. One of the problems, I believe, of the accountancy profession in the last 30-odd years in Australia is accountants and our professional bodies have only really communicated to the marketplace that accountants are good at taxation, audits and insolvency. There hasn't been much said about the services that accountants can render to small, medium enterprises. We believe that this has been a mistake and that accountants should have been doing far more promotion. So even though survey after survey has shown that the small, medium enterprise market would like to receive far more business-related advice from their accountants, you are still going to have to educate your client as to what some of these services are, and probably more importantly, educate your client by marketing and self-promotion that you indeed can deliver these services, because they've got used to you only doing tax. In fact, at a Smith Inc. 2020 conference on the Gold Coast in February, one of the speakers, an accountant from Melbourne, indicated that when he was reviewing the profit and loss account of a client that he'd had for 15 years, he noticed professional services, $26,000 in the profit and loss account. He rang the client and inquired what this was for, and the client indicated he'd paid a coach and he was very happy with it. The accountant said to him, "Why didn't you come and see me about this?" And the reply was, "I've been your client for 15 years and all you have talked to me about in that time has been taxation and annual accounts. I didn't know you did business coaching. I didn't know you were interested in business plans, budgets, cash flow forecasts, business health checks." Amazing. Quite amazing. The accountant was a bit disappointed. The client, though, had got the services, and because the accounting firm, as far as the client was concerned, had not been promoting or marketing its services, that they could have handled additional services, the client had gone elsewhere to buy those services. Hopefully our material will help clients to educate their clients on the type, I'll rephrase that, accountants to educate their clients on the type of services that accountants can provide, and at the same time that supplying that information to the clients will help inform them that you as their accountant are able to supply these services. Leadership's a very important area. Peter McDougall, an ex-colonel in the Australian Army, Managing Director of Leadership Academy, has written a small business leadership series which is exclusively contained within ESS BIZTOOLS. It's part of your subscription. The brief to Peter was to write a series of modules on leadership that could be developed and utilised with their clients by small accountants, by accountants in public practice. So that's what he's done, and that information is there, and we commend that to you. There are 9 modules. We produce 35 seminars, webinars, workshops, whatever you want to call them. All the materials there, they're contained in standalone modules, so there's no chance of turning up at a seminar and having the incorrect information. I've already told you about the papers, but for every paper there's a set of PowerPoint slides, which obviously you can use in seminars, but you might want to use in one-on-one or one-on very small meetings with clients, going through some of these products, explaining them all to you. ESS BizGrants is a separate product. Our next webinar on ESS BizGrants is next Tuesday, the 28th of May at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you wish to register for that seminar, you're most welcome. So, and there's another one on the 6th of June. In fact, I've just reread my notes. The 6th of June, Thursday the 6th of June is the webinar for non-subscribers. The one I referred to next Tuesday is a subscribers webinar. That's where we train new subscribers in how to use the material. So we're going to go through a website tour in a moment and give you an overview of how everything fits together. Obviously pricing is very important. It's also very important for us that we have sales. So a gold subscription, the cost is $2,700 plus GST. That gives you 12 months access, 24/7 access for any number of authors within an office. So you can access the material, and as I've said before, that includes the gold subscription. There's also separate subscription packages that you can subscribe to for silver, bronze, and Business Plus only, and those prices are all on the screen, and they're also on our website. So I'm now going to go to the ESS BizTools website, so that when you go onto the website, this is where you will start. You can log on and get a guest password which will last for 30 days. You can explore the site in that time if you wish, and there is some free complimentary material and tools that you're able to download as a guest firm on our site. So in products, we have a list of the components of ESS BIZTOOLS. The Small Business Advisory Package is a separate package that is for training organisations, whereby they receive some of the material to utilise within their training organisations. So the first thing I'd like to do is to go to Business Advisory Services. There are two segments. The one on the left in the grey background is the nine modules that are included within the system that assist the firm to do the reviews, the research, to decide whether you wish to undertake business advisory services, or more importantly, to assist you to get ready to deliver business advisory services. This is not an easy process, and it does take some time and some planning if you're going to do it successfully. On the right-hand side are the products or services that we've currently developed and loaded onto the website. There's 10 of them there. There's another 2 to go on very shortly. So if you want to have a look at what's in a module, I've clicked on the implementation of business advisory services. On each of our material, you receive a précis or summary of what's contained, and you could read that. What I'm doing now is downloading the material, because obviously we're delivering all this by the web. So we're downloading the material so that we can have a good look at it. And what we are going to receive is a paper that forms the basis of the reviews. So it's like a guidance paper which would guide you as the accountant in deciding how you are going to organise yourself to undertake business advisory services within your firm. You'll see there's a couple of lines here. The area above the lines is for you to badge the paper with your firm logo and name. Now, I know this paper is meant for internal use, but you can still badge it if you wish. But you wouldn't send this paper to your client, but it is prepared exactly the same way as we would prepare a normal paper that was going to a client, and I'll show you some of those later on. So with each of our papers, you have a list of contents, and you have a list of the forms that are contained within the paper or attached to the paper. The paper is linked to other papers within the system. The papers that are in the 500 series are the 50 papers that are targeted at accountants. And we can link to a form. So here's a suggested strategy for partners to consider in deciding to go down the path of developing business advisory services for the firm. It's a fair bit of work in doing all this and setting it up as a separate unit or a separate set of products or services that your firm is offering. We have a checklist within the system to enable you to cross-check that you've thought of the various issues relating to offering business advisory services, that you've thought of staffing and marketing, who's going to be trained to undertake the work. So those forms are there. I made a comment there at the end of that form, final thought, don't prejudge clients. I think it's very important that you approach clients for business advisory services with an open mind. Don't prejudge them. make the presentation to them, show them what's in business advisory services, and you might be pleasantly surprised that some of the people you think might not want to go down this path will actually want to do it. We think business advisory services should be offered to all your A-class clients and your B-class who you'd like to make A-class. Some people have said to us, well, what's the attributes of an A or B-class client? So we've included a form there to help you decide who are potentially A-class clients, who presumably are going to be the main group that you're trying to supply these services to. So that form continues on looking at the various organisational material relative to getting the firm ready to be able to deliver business advisory services. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, can you please just send them through to us? Just type them in and raise your hand, and I'll try to answer those towards the end of the webinar. On the left-hand side, you can see the other items that are covered on the introduction to business advisory services, things like team training, leadership, marketing strategies, deciding the products that you're going to offer, the use of the SME needs analysis, which is really a menu of the services that you'll have available for your firm, selecting the team members, the champions who are going to be the champions of the various products, and also industries. It's very important in all this to have nominated key industries that you're going to develop some expertise, experience and knowledge so that the marketplace will deem you an expert in particular industries. What are those industries? Who are the people who are going to put that little bit of extra time in to do the reading? We have a seminar, special seminar included in the material to assist you to launch business advisory services. I finished a training workshop this morning. I've been training a firm for 14 weeks, 2.5 hours a week, and we've had our final session this morning, which was the seminar, so that they had 8 of their accountants make presentations on the various products so that they are then able to take the big plunge in the next couple of weeks, and that is to start a invitation to their A-class clients to come in for a seminar so they can present to them on these exciting range of new services that they're going to be able to present to their clients. Now, this firm started this process a bit earlier this year, but they are now very keen because of the commentary starting to appear about the problems that are going to really occur in the accountancy profession in the next few years. They're keen to be properly underway, to be well and truly entrenched as a recognised business advisory service advisor long before the problems that Deloitte, CCH, Proactive Accountants are all alluding to. On the right-hand side, we have the products or services that we have included within the system. So if you wanted to have a look at cash flow management, we'll just bring it up. You've got the executive summary. There's a fair bit of material on this. So this is covering, and we'll just download it, this is covering debtors, stock, work in progress, creditors, bank covenants, things like debtors financing, debtors factoring, of course. And the system also includes a form to assist in the preparation of a fee estimate, a budget form, and also includes a template of a proposal that could be sent to the client to take the form of an engagement letter which confirms to the client the services that you're going to provide for them. Now, obviously, you can prepare your own. The material's there as a guide. You can change it if you wish. But it's been included because when we did our initial surveys on these products, the feedback we got from many accountants is that they weren't really comfortable in preparing budgets or quotes for clients because they really hadn't been doing that in their previous regime of supplying tax returns. So we've included that within the material. So we're going to download a paper here when the system works. It's Friday, just wanted to go a bit slower, I think. So we're going to download the paper so we can have a good look. There's the paper, same headings above there which you can badge it yourself. There's a fair bit in this paper, and what I'm going to do is just look at some of the debtors system. So the paper is an instruction paper. It takes you through the process, and it also includes some forms relative to quotations, etc. So what I want to look at first of all, we've got a debtor system questionnaire. So this is a questionnaire that you might use to review your client's current debtors system. It goes on for about 30 pages of various questions that would enable you to do a full review of the debtors system that your client's using. You can link to that one's not working today. I'll go back to that form in a moment. There are other forms that you can be going to and looking at. So it gives you a good way to review what is within the system. There is a introduction checklist where you can go through and look at the various aspects of the systems being utilised by the client and record what's got to get done. You can link to other forms, so I've now gone on to a director's guarantee. We're calling it a sample document because obviously these are documents that should be drafted by solicitors. We've included it in there to give the client some idea. So the concept is that as you're working through with the client, that you can identify some of the material that's within the system, and if you need a form like an application to open a debtors account, well, there is a form within the system that you could look at and say, well, this will suit the client, and make that available to them to save reinventing the wheel. Obviously, if you wish to produce something else, you could do so, or you could edit this material. We have a welcome to new customer letter. A lot of your small business clients probably don't do this, but we think it's very essential if they are going to confirm their terms of trade, their client. One of the reasons I believe why debtors days outstanding, according to Dun & Bradstreet, currently 52 days, is so high, is that many businesses do not formally advise their new customers what their terms of trade are all about. We have a debtors day outstanding calculator, which suggests if the client's not currently calculating debtors days outstanding, you explain to them how it works, leave the form with them so that they can calculate it. You can incorporate within the form what their targeted debtors days outstanding is, so they can work out what their problem figure is. If they want to collect their debtors in 40 days and they're currently on 61, they'll readily know what the cash flow impact of not collecting their debtors in 40 days is all about. We've included just the second last thing on debtors, a debtors reduction checklist to help the firm identify the troublesome debtors that they're going to collect special amounts of money from to try to get down from 61 days towards 41 days. Who's going to do the collections? And then they can record the progressive total as it comes in each week, so they can see how they're going. And we've also included a manual. So the manual, there's a bit of a note there to accountants to saying this is meant to be the manual you would then make available to the client. You can edit this if you wish. You can badge it, prepared by XYZ accountants for the name of the client. And it's a detailed systems manual on debtors. You can edit the material if you wish to customize it to the particular client. But at least then you'll be leaving a written system in the organisation, and someone that's responsible for handling debtors within the client's business will have a system which tells them how to handle things like the credit application form, what do they do with the director's guarantee form, how do they file them, what sort of communication do they send back if they're going to decline a credit application. Big issue, what are they doing about the personal property securities register? Have they established procedures, or are they still working on the assumption that their AMALPA clauses are going to be effective? Well, obviously they're not, but how do your clients know that? So hopefully the manual will help identify that to them. So that's a brief overview of debtors. If we can just have a look at the form for the budget quotation form. We've linked there to all the various processes that we envisage might be undertaken as part of a cash flow management review, so you can think about what the timing of work will be, so you can record your hours, then any specific what-if calculations or anything else you've been asked to do, so that you're able to work out a fee, and very importantly, a payment schedule. And we have a proposal or engagement letter. Here is a template you can use if you wish, which enables you to confirm in writing to the client what this work is, what are you going to do, what the timetable is going to be, what the outcomes are, what the quotation is, who's going to work on it, what your payment terms are. We do recommend that you provide that you're going to be paid on a progressive basis. Cover yourself on any additional work that it is outside the agreement, and get the client to agree to it all by signing off. So that's the an overview, very quick one, but unfortunately that's all we've got time for in that segment. So that hopefully is giving you an idea of how we've gone about putting the business advisory services module together, and similar approaches have been taken in each of these other modules to assist you in delivering these value-added tasks to your client without you having to reinvent the wheel by developing all that material. The next area I want to go to is client mentoring. There are 13 modules on client mentoring. Incidentally, anything that's got yellow through it like this is free material. If you go onto our website and register as a guest, you can get free access to this. So I just want to have a look at this. So this is on purchasing or commencing a business. This all came about because one afternoon, one of our early subscribers from Perth rang me and said, I've got a new client coming in. I've been trying to get this guy for 3 years. He's an established business person. What papers should I give him? Because I want to differentiate our practice from others in Perth. I told him, he said, why don't you put it into a product so I don't have to keep on ringing you? So we did. So this is not the material that he received, because he was talking about a more advanced business. But what we're proposing here is that over a period of time, which we're saying about 6 weeks, you would send one of these series to the client each week, which would give the client a fairly comprehensive range of information on a business. Now, earlier I said I think it's very necessary to educate clients. I don't think this profession has been very good at doing that over the years, and we need to, as accountants, to be communicating more with the clients so they have a full appreciation of what we're supplying. So I'm going to download the first week so you can have a look at how this system works. We're suggesting that you forward it to the client in small doses. If you send all this to a client in one go, he or she might not read it all. However, some firms are binding these up and sending them out as a booklet to their client. That's really your call. But I like the idea that you're going to be communicating with the client over about a 6-week period. They're going to be getting an email from you with a letter, and we've got a standard letter included, so that they can get a full array of material. I think one of the challenges for accountants is that if you are going to try to deliver these services, you need to educate the client, and you obviously want the client to pay you some more money. But I don't think the clients are going to readily agree to paying more money unless they've got a far better idea than what most of them are currently got. And the example I gave you about that Melbourne small business and the Melbourne accountant, whereby the client went off and talked to a business coach because they didn't know the accountant supplied these services, supports the concept that there has to be a greater education of clients. So the first thing that's included within the material is a template of a letter, which you could put on your own letterhead, of course, and it's going to the client telling them why you're supplying this information, which incidentally we think should be invoiced to the client. Maybe it's part of an overall fee that you've quoted to them to help them with getting ready for business. So there's the letter to go to them. There's also a survey form. You badge it with your name on it, and what we're asking the client to do is to indicate whether they found this material helpful or unhelpful. And our suggestion is that after about 5 days, you have one of your customer services officers or an admin person ring the client, ask them, have they read the material? Have they got any questions? Do they want to come and see an accountant? And if so, make an appointment, because unashamedly we believe that we've developed this material for you so that you can use it to promote your business advisory services to your clients. And we believe that by better informing them as to what some of these services are, they'll be far more receptive to engaging you to produce these sort of services. Now and again people say to me, but the client will do it themselves. I don't think they will, and in most cases they don't, because they're too busy trying to run their business. But I think it's very important that they understand what all this is about. If you're going to try to lift a fee of $2,000 to $3,000 for an annual set of accounts and a business tax return to somewhere in the $10,000 to $15,000 bracket, we really believe that you need to educate your client, and this will help you do so. There's a few other things there, but then you have the papers, so you badge the papers. The papers to be sent out in this series are all there together, so there's no chance of sending the wrong ones. And there's a paper which is going to the client, which is pretty straightforward. It's just telling them about some of the problems of starting a business. Then you have the other papers. There's also PowerPoint slides, which is up to you whether you send them. I'll talk about PowerPoint slides later on. So that's how the mentoring and coaching works. There are 13 modules there at this stage. We're thinking about adding a few more, but that's how the system is working to help better educate your client. I've moved forward to the business class newsletter, and while I'm talking I'll just bring this up. Now you can have some back issues of this if you're a subscriber. It goes back to issue number 51, which would have been back in July 2010. But the one we're going to download first of all is the May newsletter. Now these newsletters are prepared each month except January and are uploaded to our website, and all of our subscribers receive a special email telling them that it's uploaded at around 12 noon on the second Friday of each month, 12 noon Australian Eastern Standard Time. And you can then rebadge the material and send it to your clients. You can edit the material if you wish, or you can add additional material to the newsletter. The newsletters don't include too much direct taxation information, because there's plenty of other newsletters do that. And a number of the SMEs we talk to have indicated they're not really interested in all the taxation information because they think that's for the accountants. But I'll leave you to sort that one out with your clients. Now, this is a newsletter, so you would replace the ESS BIZTOOLS logo with your own, and then the systems manual that comes with the subscription that tells you how to do that. There's always an editorial article, so you can see we've got issue number 89, so we've started our 8th year of producing these newsletters. So we're looking at an editorial article. We write an editorial article each month, trying to base it on economic conditions, what's happening in the slightly bigger world. Then we write articles on matters to do with running a small business. Survival in difficult times is very difficult at present. I'm hearing some very sad stories from all over Australia at present from both small business operators and accountants. So we're talking about survival in difficult times here, and each of our articles normally ends up with a call to action. If you've got problems with your current business environment, come and contact us. And one of our products within ESS BIZTOOLS is a complete workbook on survival in difficult times. We've then got something on selling. We've been running a series on what's it mean. This one's terms interest, times interest covered by profit, just so your SME clients can understand how these things are calculated. We always run some commentary on grants. Obviously this was a private enterprise grant for the coal industry, which closed on the 15th of May. Cost control. This was a introduction to budgets for the next financial year. Last month we talked about sales and setting sales budget. The reason we ran cost controls here was that the CCH survey of small business identified that the biggest single problem, according to small business operators, was cost control. So we thought, okay, we better run a cost control article. There's plenty of material within the ESS BIZTOOLS on cost control. Marketing, it was also listed as a problem area in the CCH survey of small businesses. So we've got an article there on marketing. And we're looking at a few things, and we've got a lot more in the June issue, action plan prior to the 30th of June. We started out last month by looking at sales. We've obviously looked at costs, tax planning, cash flow management, article on break even. So these are all general articles on small business to try to educate the client. We always have this section, Attention Accountants, and that includes details of papers with ESS BIZTOOLS that you might be able to use as a reference library, if you like, to give some additional information as to what some of these articles are referring to. And obviously at the end you'd remove the final ESS logo and put your own in there. So that's the Business Plus newsletter. We also produce a special newsletter for the federal budget as it affects small medium enterprises. We will send that to you at the after this webinar, and we're also in the process of finalising end-of-year tax planning checklist that we've produced for the last 8 years, and we'll send you a complimentary copy of that next week also, so you can see the sort of material we produce. We haven't quite finished that. It'll be finished over the weekend, so it should be released Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. We have client seminars. There's 35 client seminars. The initial ones which we prepared some years ago were for a number of sessions by 3 hours, 5 sessions by 3 hours. Some firms use those, but we found the most common or most popular seminars with 1 hour ones, and they're the ones that in our system have numbered 1,000 plus. So if you want to have a look at a seminar, you click on the name of the seminar. We're going into a profit-making seminar, and we'll download that. So this could be presented as a seminar or a webinar. I think for the seminar is included within this module, so there's no chance of getting to a venue or ready to run a webinar and finding you haven't got all the slides or the papers or the organisational material. So within the package we're downloading, there is some generic organisational material, which is obviously the same for each of the 35 seminars, and there's some material that is specific for this seminar. So the generic material is some general hints on the presentation of the seminar, which you might look at. And we've got an explanation, and we have some registration forms. Then we've got material that is specific just for this seminar, so you might have a news release that you would customise to suit your firm. And then we have the actual paper. So you would have badged it at the top. Who can assist small business operators? And what's also there is the PowerPoint slides. So have a look at the PowerPoint slides. So you could utilise those if you wished. So for every paper there's a set of PowerPoint slides to assist you in the delivery. I don't know why that gets back up. So that's how the seminars work. Let's go into the leadership modules. Leadership modules have been written slightly different by Leadership Academy. There's a summary, some preamble information which you'll find of interest relating to leadership. And then there's 9 modules, and there's presentation times that have been prepared for each of the modules are listed there. So this material has been produced so that there is a facilitator's guide together with an attendee's paper, and there's PowerPoint slides to go with the material, and they're the suggested presentation times. I'm now going to go into the ESS papers. The papers are organised under sections, so all these section names that are on the screen at present all have papers within them. The ones that are numbered up to 270 can all contain papers targeted at small businesses. The ones in the 501 through to 600 are these areas where papers for accountants are located, and the leadership papers are in section 900. So if you wanted to have a look at operating a successful business, and if we looked at, and so there's the list of papers that are under that section heading. If we had a look at characteristics of a well-run business, you would first of all get the executive summary, which summarises what's in there, and you say, yes, that's what I'm looking for. You would then download the paper. You would then badge it with your name, logo, etc., and then be able to send it to your client. So there's the paper, there's the contents, and what we're doing in this paper is looking at 20 characteristics of a well-run business. There are some addendums, and you go through and look at the various characteristics. It is linked to other papers within the system. And there's also a set of PowerPoint slides. So if you're looking for PowerPoint slides, this is where you get them, unless they're part of a seminar. They're attached to the paper. You go to the sections, find them. So it's an overview of how the system works. I've got one question that's been sent in to me. Within the product section, are there actual templates, cash flow, business valuation, business plan, or is it all in papers? Yeah, all those forms that are attached are templates for use of the system. So if we just go back into product, the paper that I was referring to within Business Advisory Services is just the instructional guide to take someone through the system, so that if we went into business planning consultancy, these are all the templates. We're calling them forms, but they're the templates, including things like briefing documents, so that you make sure that you're getting the right briefing from your client, agendas for meetings, interview forms, shareholders interview forms, customer surveys, and there are 54 business plan questionnaires. So there's individual questionnaires for sales, for team, for location, for accountancy, for directors, for management, and so it goes on. Intellectual property. So that's how we've broken that material up. So that's where the various templates are that you can use to undertake the actual assignments. So the overall subscription to ESS BIZTOOLS can be found on pricing and sign up. There is a summary there which shows you the various packages that we've developed ESS BIZTOOLS in to make it easier for firms to subscribe. The Gold package includes everything, and in particular it contains a license for the reproduction of all of the ESS BIZTOOLS papers in a secure section of the accountant's website that you are making available to your clients or invited prospects by using a password. And it also includes a subscription to ESS BizGrants. So you can see there the ticks that we have there under the various packages, what is contained. You can log on and get a guest package for 30 days, which is free. And there's our subscription prices across the screen. If you are a member of Proactive Accountants, Smith Inc. 2020, a subscriber or a user of what product, or a client of CST, there are discount packages for those organisations because they do assist us in marketing and promotion of our products. And you will need to talk to them to obtain the package reference number to be utilised on the subscription. So you can click onto a package, and it will then take you to the subscription form, which you can then complete, indicate how you're going to make payment, and that will then give you 24/7 access for an individual office for ESS BIZTOOLS for 12 months. So thank you very much for participating in this webinar today. As I said earlier, if you have any questions that you haven't sent through to me already, can you please send us an email to peter@esbiztools.com.au or telephone 0747241118